Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with Wells Fargo and the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Every Monday at noontime, TexasFootball.com will announce 10 candidates for this week's awards based on the previous week's on-field performance. Voting will close each Friday at noon. The winner will be announced here on Texas Football Today. So this is the Monday portion where we announce the 10 candidates. Another big loaded week. Appreciate everybody's nominations. If you're wondering, by the way, why your favorite player is not up for this, well, he's got to get nominated on our social media. We send out something. When do you usually do that, Max? Like
it's usually
Sunday morning-ish?
Saturday night, Sunday morning. It just depends on when I get around to it. But yeah, on Facebook we put out the call. Last week we had tons of people nominate players. This week we had like 2 people.
Yeah,
that's on you.
So nominate your favorite player for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. We have 10 great candidates though. Let's start. Katy running back DeAndre Glass, 397 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. They needed every bit of it as they got in a dogfight with Atascocita, came out with a 31-28 win. Katy running back DeAndre Glass up for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week, as is Needville running back Ashton Streedick, 318 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. That Needville offense, by the way,
pretty good.
It's pretty good, and they get Cal Allen this week.
Oh boy,
it's gonna be fun. Hutto quarterback Chase Griffin did Hutto quarterback Chase Griffin things. 478 yards and 7 touchdowns through the air in their wild overtime win over Liberty Hill.
How many touchdowns, Greg?
7.
7.
Midland Lee wide receiver. I'm going to butcher this. Loic Fuanji. Good job.
Sure.
Fuanji. 10 catches, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. Loic, let me tell you something. You keep putting up numbers like that, I'm going to learn to say your name. He's up for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year. Player of the Week, rather. Newton athlete Amasya Brown, 6 catches, 168 yards, and a touchdown reception, a touchdown on the ground, and he returned an interception for a touchdown. That's a complete game.
That's the most Amasya stat line ever.
That's a pretty solid day. Hereford running back Seth Dixon, 320 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground for the White Faces. Hereford rolling. Odessa Permian wide receiver Justin Hammond. A lot of West Texas kids here. 8 catches, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving, 57 yards on the ground, and he returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Good measure.
You know why there's a lot of West Texas kids?
Why?
Because they didn't get rained out like everyone else.
Yep. Great point.
Good point.
Houston St. Thomas quarterback Peyton Muchacha. Check this out. 501 yards and 5 touchdowns through the air, and he ran for 54 yards and a score. Denton Ryan defensive back Billy Bowman. Love to get these defenders in here. 3 picks. And returned 2 of them for scores.
Easy.
Billy Bowman up for the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award. And Cedar Park wide receiver Carson Neal. 14 catches, 302 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I need to check that.
I hope they didn't throw to anybody else.
I got to check this out.
300 receiving yards in a game.
I need to make sure. I need to check what the record.
Make sure he didn't crack the top 10.
Yeah, I need to check this. It's just now registering with me. Like, oh crap.
300 is a lot for a receiver.
It is not. But he's real close. To crack the top 10 right now, you got to have 328.
That is close.
That's very, very close. But
to give people some perspective, when we make these nominations and we break things down, the barrier is always pretty similar. If you're a quarterback, you need to at least 400 passing yards, or your combined yards need to be edging closer to 500 total yards rushing, passing.
Yeah.
Running backs need to have 300 yards. You'd be amazed how many 300-yard performances there are every weekend.
It is stunning how many running backs run for like 240 every week.
Yeah, and they're not going to make the list
it's
because
like,
there's
which
enough.
Which sucks because that's an incredible game.
There's just too many kids. And then receivers, it's 200, right? If you get 200 yards as a receiver, that's a crazy game.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts Carson Neal's in perspective there at 300.
So your Week 2 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees: Katy running back DeAndre Glass, Needville running back Ashton Streedick, Hutto quarterback Chase Griffin, Midland Lee wide receiver Loic Fuanji.
That's what we're going with.
Newton athlete Amasya Brown, Hereford running back Seth Dixon, Odessa Permian wide receiver Justin Hammond, Houston St. Thomas quarterback Peyton Muchacha, Denton Ryan defensive back Billy Bowman, and Cedar Park wide receiver Carson Neal. Vote early, vote often, vote now at TexasFootball.com.